I am attempting the largest watercolor I've ever done. And because I'm a glutton for punishment, I'm gonna make it even more chaotic and throw acrylic paint at it, and also try some of my husband's automotive paint on it. Will it work? I have no idea, but we are gonna find out together. Hey y'all, I'm Lulu, and this is Learn It with Lulu, where I try things I'm not exactly great at yet, or things I don't really know if they're gonna work. And I invite you to do the same thing. If you like learning new skills and trying new hobbies, then please subscribe, because that's all I do here. And I think we should be friends. You know, this is really a side note, but when I had my husband build this studio, I thought it was a great idea to put it on the west. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Put it on the west side of the house, or of the barn, because it would have so much light coming in. But I didn't know I was gonna be trying to film videos at sunset when it was blinding me coming through the window. I made this. I have a video where I made this, and I'm gonna do this, but on watercolor paper. Maybe, I don't know, I hope it works. Also, today I was mixing paint, ran out of this. And this is like the stuff that makes paint on cars shimmery. And I'm gonna try to put this on the painting too, because it's so pretty and I just couldn't throw it away. So we'll see how that works. Okay, so first things first, we are going to wet our paper. I have it already taped down. So if you haven't done that, you need to go ahead and do that. And I'm wetting it because I'm gonna do a wet on wet technique for the background. So we get to practice our watercolor techniques while we're making a painting, and that's always the best thing to do. So I'm just wetting it really good. This sprayer is from Michael's, and I 0 out of 10 do not recommend. It works terribly. All right, this time I'm gonna use this palette. My Aunt Norma Jean also sent me this palette, and I would love to tell you where to get it, but I do not know. It says Quiller Traveler on the lid, and then it has that little map color wheel in there, but I don't know where she bought it from or what the brand of paints are. But I do know that they're my favorite, so that's what I'm gonna do with this. And besides the paint, you need some watercolor brushes and some acrylic brushes, and then a jar of water, and that's it. So these I got from Amazon for my art camp that I had in the studio, and they are so much better than the Michael's one. As always, spritz your watercolor real good, wake it up, and I am gonna use a flat brush because it's so big. And I'm really just going for sunset or sunrise vibes. Our sunrise this morning here was real bright and fiery. And I'll try to stick a picture in here to show you. So I'm gonna try to sort of do that. So I'm going into some cobalt blue. No, this is French ultramarine. It's a real dark blue color. And I'm just gonna pick that straight up on my brush. See that? And you know what? It's been a minute. Let me spray this again. Now what we're not gonna do here is we are not gonna overthink this. Okay, we are going for it. Okay, now I'm gonna pick a reddish tint. I like this one in the back here. I would love to tell you what color that is, but I have no, wait, yeah, I can have a map. It's alizarin crimson, and it makes this beautiful pinky red color. So I'm gonna throw some of that in there, but I think I'm gonna mute it down a little bit. So what I do, and I don't know if this is how you're supposed to do it, but what I do when I'm trying to mute colors down is I just look across and I pick a color across the color wheel, and I just put a little bit of that in there. Well, okay, that was a lot of it, but we're gonna try again. And now I've muted it down a bit. Oh, it's running. So I'm having a run here. And what I'm gonna do is something called a thirsty brush. And I'm gonna grab a dry brush and I'm gonna stick it in my puddle. And you know what? That may not be enough. I may need to go grab a paper towel, but if there's a lot of water on this paper. To show you another technique. You got too much water, you dab the paper towel and let the paper towel soak it up. The corners, just the edges. Honestly, you know what? I love a good toilet paper. So let's try that. Grab some toilet paper and you ball it up like a little rose, and then you just go in and dab, 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 dab. Now, the sunset, it's not really going to look like that because the clouds are actually going to be a shadow, but hey, this is abstract. So who cares, really? So, fun fact, I painted this entire section with my mic turned off. I didn't realize it until after I was done with the watercolor background, which means you missed all of my random commentary. The brush clinks in the water jars and probably me talking to myself way too much. Poor you. But hey, I'm nothing if not persistent. Though I'd be a lot less frustrated if I actually learned from my mistakes the first time. Anyway, here I'm loosely painting in the base layers for the grass. I'm using greens and yellows and I'm letting them blend in soft, almost messy brush strokes. And the idea is to keep it light and playful, like the wildflowers are just waiting to explode across the field. I'm not worried about perfection here. In fact, the less precise it is, the more natural it looks. Here I am showing you how I'm unifying the colors of the acrylic paints that I'm going to throw across the paper. And not gonna lie, I made these paints way too watery. And I also thought I had a brilliant idea of using a spoon to throw them, but watch this disaster happen in 3, 2, 1. And, well, my countdown was off, but anyway, whoop, yeah, no, that's nothing like what I was trying to go for. And I just keep trying because I don't want to give up the idea. I really thought it was going to be great. Look at that nonsense. Whew. But it's not great. And in a minute, I'm going to go straight back to my brush throwing technique that I had before with that long, skinny brush. But anyway, you don't know if you don't try. So I did think about, well, actually, I had this quote on a green tea bag that I had in my tea the other night, and it said, it was a Van Gogh quote, and it said, "What would life be like if we had no courage to attempt anything?" And I was like, you know what? That feels right for me right now, because even though I'm sure a lot of this could be so much better, but I'm proud of myself for trying, and I'm proud of myself for attempting these silly little art projects that I do. And even with mic mishaps and messy brushwork, and in this video you'll see I accidentally cover up most of what I do with the brush because I have the camera on the wrong side. And so all you see is my hand painting instead of the actual flower that I'm painting. But even with all that, I'm still here, I'm still showing up, I'm still painting, and I'm still learning. Because every mistake that we make is just another layer in the process. And that's kind of like this grass. You just keep throwing some stuff on there and see where it goes. Okay, so excuse the shadows. I don't know if it's making it hard for you to see, but I can't help it. I know that you don't have this. I mean, it's highly unlikely that you have this. But I just could not let this go to waste. It's too pretty. Look at it. And I'm going to put some of this copper in this wildflower meadow because I want to. Now, how am I going to do it? I don't know. Actually, yeah. So here's what I'm going to do. Change of plans real quick. I'm going to untape this and I'm going to drip it down the painting because I think that will work. And if it doesn't work, then we'll do what we always do and we will adjust and figure something else out. But I think that that will work. So we're untaping our guy. Uh-oh, not all the way. Just from the desk. We don't really want to untape him all the way yet. If what's already on there drips down, fine. Great. We love it. Oh, that was a lot. Nope. Too much. Oop, oop. Well, that was better. Maybe not enough. Oh, yeah. Here. Okay. So I'm getting it. And it is strong. Smells like a body shop in here, y'all. And I think I put too much reducer in it. Not that I would know what to do, but I'm just guessing. That one needs more. I want them to all go to the bottom. Is that good? Do we like that? Or do we hate it? You tell me. You see it shiny? Can you see it shimmering? Because I can sure see it shimmering. This is what makes car paint sparkle. And it's super duper expensive. My husband told me when I stole his bottle of it. But now I'm really rescuing this because you couldn't use it anymore to mix paint with because there wasn't enough in the bottle. So I'm thinking of it as rescuing. All right. Maybe that's good. I don't know. And I also don't even know if it's going to dry I don't know. But we're experimenting and we're going to see. So I'm taping him back down. I wiped off the bottom where all that paint was. I didn't want to get it on me. And now I'm trying to let y'all look over my shoulder like the real YouTubers do. And it's so hard to figure out how they do their filming. And I'm probably already told you this in a voiceover because I have to do a voiceover again. But I had my microphone on and I thought I had my microphone on. I had it on my body, but I didn't have it turned on. So I did a big chunk of video where I thought I was painting and talking to you, and I wasn't because the microphone wasn't turned on. Then I went to do a short to show you how to unify your color palette, and I did the whole thing. And then I realized the microphone wasn't on, and I wasn't filming the entire time I did the short because I am still not learning from my mistakes. So I did it all again. I have 2 palettes of the same unified paints. Did I waste materials? Probably. All right, let's paint some flowers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try to get a little crazy. When I did the one that is the inspiration for this painting, I was real careful and I just did it real simple. But I think I'm going to try to get a little bit crazy with my colors. And I'm going to take this brush and I'm going to use this little whale in the middle and I'm going to dip one side in the red. And you know what? I'm going to dip the other side in the yellow. Mayonnaise, ketchup, and mustard. Should have done that in my cheeseburger video. Oh, did y'all see what I just did? Oh, my word. Okay, wait, look. One side, other side. Because I did it backwards. So we're going to do yellow and red. And we're going to stick to one side. Oh, I got to do it like this. Why am I having such a hard time? Okay. And then we're going to do a flower. And what kind of flower? I don't know. One with petals like that. And what I'm trying to do here is find where I had like the real chunky parts at the top. And that's going to be the top of my flower. And I'm going to do it again. Yellow, red, brush, kind of blending it a little bit. I'm trying. I don't know. I'm talking to you like I know what I'm doing, but I don't. Boop, 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 boop. And I like odd numbers, so we're going to do at least 3 of those. And I'm literally making these flowers up in my mind. Is that the only petals they have? I don't know. We may do that again. Then, because I'm messy, we're going to mix that into an orange, and then we're just going to go straight into the yellow, and we're going to do another flower. And this flower is going to be like a cone flower, but we're going to make it chunky and textured, which is kind of silly because we're going to have to put this in a frame, but who cares? There's one there, and you know what? We're going to have a tall one. Don't you feel like we have a tall one? So, Bob Ross, did y'all know that Bob Ross did every painting that he did 3 times? He did it one time to figure out what he wanted to paint, and then he did it one time to figure out the pacing for the show, and then he did it a final time for the show. So that was some great planning, what Bob Ross did. But Lulu doesn't do that. Lulu figures out what she's going to paint the day she films the video, literally on her way home from work. And then she comes out to the studio and she starts filming because I value the authenticity of it. And now we are going to paint a pink flower. So I am getting super messy here, and that's okay, y'all. It's okay. It's okay to mix your colors. Now, if you mix them all together, you know what you're going to have? Brown, and you're going to be mad. But if you're trying to mix and you're trying to get some texture in your flower, go for it, friends. That's fine. Maybe this flower is going to be like a standout. Maybe they were not going to have 3 of those. That's kind of a big boy right there. And I'm kind of not sure about the center, but hey, it's pretty. I like it. I hate this shadow, but I can't do anything about it right now. Then we need, of course, Lulu's tall. Why am I talking in the first person? We need my tall purple flowers that I don't know what they're called, and I probably made up. And I'm going to do one here, like a big boy standing out up there. So that I just literally make up as I go. I like to have the 2 different colors. I want it to mix on the paper. Probably my watercolor artistry coming out in my acrylic attempts. And if you are an acrylic artist and you're thinking, well, she don't know what she's doing, guess what? You're right. I don't. But I'm going to figure it out like I did watercolor because I try and I practice. And I like what I have going on here. And yours is not going to look just like mine. Yours is going to look like yours. And that is better than looking like mine because you don't want to be a copy. You want, look at me splattering paint. I just can't stop splattering the paint. But you don't want to be a copy. You want it to look like yours. And whoever you're painting it for, and you should paint it for somebody because that makes them feel special. Whoever you're painting it for, they want it to look like yours too. Because if they wanted my painting, then they would get mine. But they don't. 3 of those, 3 of those, 3 of those. Maybe I need to do like 5 of something. I think I'm going to go back with this one. I'm going to go back with my red and orange one, red and yellow one, and paint 5 of them because I think that I need more. You know what? We're going to do some little petals on the inside. Give it some depth. As what kind of flower is that? Doesn't matter. That's the kind of flower that lives in my world. Everything doesn't have to be something that exists already. You can make up your own stuff. Look, those are cute. I like them. Where am I going to put another flower? 1, 2, 3, 4. I may break a rule. One of my made up rules. And I may do 5, 6 and have an even number of them. So I'm going to put one here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a pink one here. Oh, You hear my dog hassling? This thing's gonna take forever to dry, but that's okay. And you know what this thing needs? I really like it like it is. But I do think I'm gonna go in with my smaller brush that I like to throw paint with and do a little bit more of the purple on the purple flowers, the dark purple. Okay, my cone flower needs a cone, and I'm gonna try to make a whimsy colored cone with the red and the purple and see if I can make a brown color, possibly. I feel like I'm just making more red. And so this is gonna be a brown that's gonna go with my palette. So I'm gonna stick with it, even though it's a reddish brown, that's okay. It still goes with my palette. And I'm not gonna go pull another color. It looks like a brown. And actually, I think I'm going to use my automotive paint, see what that does. That makes a mess, is what that does. And it does have some things in it to thin paint, so I don't know if that's working against me or for me. All right, and now we are going to go in and give our flowers some centers right here. And more than that, we are going to make some little, a wildflower meadow has like little baby flowers going on. So we're just going to go around and dot some yellow in there, just wherever we want to. All over it. We have some yellow dot because we wanted yellow dots. It's not what I meant to do, but it's what I did. So guess what? That's what I'm going with. And you know what else? We are gonna get some of this color, some of this yellow, mix it. We're gonna go in these cone flowers. We're gonna tone them down a little bit even more, and then just straight yellow. Give them some layer because sometimes that's all you gotta do. You think, oh, that looks wimpy, and then you go in and you give it some more layers, and you're like, ah, look at there, it looks professional, or at least like I sort of knew what I was doing. Just keep working at it. This morning when I was doing my Bible reading, I saw this beautiful sunset that I tried to mimic, and I am not the same artist that God is. And I also read Luke chapter 12, verse 22. It talks about how we worry too much and how we're like way more important than the wildflowers in the fields are. But look how God clothed the wildflowers. And so we shouldn't worry about whether or not God's going to take care of us. And that was my inspiration for this painting because I do worry a lot. Do you worry a lot? And one thing that helps me when I catch myself worrying is to paint. So I borrowed a little inspiration from my quiet time this morning and I painted these wildflowers. I'm hoping that when I see this painting, I will think about that quiet time lesson and it will calm any anxiety that I have. Y'all, calling it done. What do you think? And of course, we cannot call it done without signing it. So I think I'm going to sign it in purple. Can you see? You can't see. So I think I'm going to sign it in purple. L-U. So I've seen a lot of rules about how you sign your art. You're supposed to sign it in the same materials that you made it in. Well, I don't always do that. That you're supposed to print your signature. I do always do that, but just because it's easier. And I have seen plenty of artists that do not. And I don't know if you're supposed to draw a flower in your signature, but I always do. And so I guess you can. Who makes these rules? But how do you sign your art? And she's done. But no watercolor is finished until the tape pull. And of course, this one is not finished because it is super duper wet, so I can't hold it up and show you, but I will show you real quick what it looks like without the shadow. This one was so fun, and I'm so glad I did it. Look at her. So here she is, all done. Cannot show you the whole thing in one picture because she's so big. Y'all help me name it. What do you think? I think it's so pretty. I'm so glad I did this. I've had two little artists send me their paintings that they did with me, and I'm going to put a picture here. And little Miss Charlie did this one. And then I'm going to put a picture down here. And Hallie Brooke did this one. And I think they are so amazing. I wanted to share those with y'all. If you do something with me, I would love for you to share your paintings. All right, well, that was it for today's learning adventure. It was far from perfect, but so am I. And that's kind of the point. If you got nothing else from today, please remember, you do not have to be great at something to start, but you definitely have to start it to get great at it. So go on. I give you permission. Make a mess, make a memory, and make a little magic while you're at it. I'm Lulu, and I am learning it the hard way, so you don't have to.